Go for it.
Friggin' what up, dude? Strider Wilson, I'm the host of this podcast that's mine, going to be called History is Dank. History is Dank with Strider Wilson. Dankness from the
Friggin' what up, dude? Welcome back to another ep of History is Dank, dude. I'm your host, Strider Wilson. Dude, we got Aaron on the sticks being an absolute beast. Dude, what up, Aaron?
What up?
Dude, just freaking posted right now, dude. Fire it up, dude. We're recording on a little Friday, but coming to you on a nice little Tuesday, dude. Giving yourself a nice little weekday treat, dude. Everybody's working for the weekend, dude, but you got to treat yourself during the week, maybe on your morning commute, dude. Maybe you're so fired up on this ep, you miss your morning meeting, and guess what? You tell your boss, dude, whatever, dude. Look at him in the face, whatever, dude. I was listening to Strider talk about some freaking dank ass spies, dude.
Ooh.
Today we're talking about spies, bro. You know,
Was that a thing you wanted to be like when you grew up as a kid? Because, man, I did too.
Dude, yeah. I wanted to be like an assistant spy where I was like, you go be freaking Val Kilmer and do that stuff. I don't really know if I want to scale a building, but I want to be the dude in the truck. I liked heist. I like cruise. Spies operate alone.
Yeah, I liked the gadgets. I mean,
I could see
Bond's gadgets were a big thing for me.
That's huge. Dude, the gadget scenes were always the best scenes. I loved his laser watch, you know, sick ass cars, the cars with the gadgets and the guns and
like
the
shoes,
smoke.
Shoes that all of a sudden could have suckers on them so you could walk up walls.
Or a knife that comes out of the toe.
Yeah, there was like a James Bond Jr. cartoon when we were growing up.
Inspector Gadget, that was sick.
Yeah, he had gadgets, yeah.
Go Gadget. But you know what? I guess
bit of a dipshit though.
He was a total dipshit, total dumbass. And didn't the bad guy, what was the name of the Dr. Botnick?
No.
I talk like this.
The Claw.
Yeah, the Claw. Yeah.
The Claw.
Claw. Dude, I was about to ask you, has there ever been a good spy movie? And there's been a ton, because James Bond is technically a spy movie.
Yeah.
He's a secret agent.
Yeah, it's a spy
But
movie.
like, honestly, I'm just thinking of like Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, which is the ultimate snooze fest.
Yeah. There's other ones.
Bridge of Spies, dude.
Bridge of
Or like
Spies is
Bridge
good.
of Close My Eyes.
Bridge of Spies is good. For me, for a movie like that, keeping my attention was actually, I was like, oh, all right, that was good since I didn't fall asleep.
I think you have a high intellect. Most people, I need jets.
Yeah.
I need
There was a
explosions.
movie called If Looks Could Kill with Richard Grieco that I loved as a kid. It is not good when you rewatch it now, but he was a teenager who accidentally, because he had the same name as a spy, got mistaken on a school trip to Paris, I believe.
See, that's fun.
Yeah.
Austin Powers, you know.
Yeah.
James Bond parody. I mean, these are great movies. And Spies.
There's got to be good spy movies.
Yeah, there's got to be one. Spy Who Shagged Me, From Russia with Love. I mean, these are all Bond titles. I want to think of it. There probably is a really good one. But
Mission Impossible.
yeah, Mission Impossible is
Those
pretty
are all
sick.
spies.
Those are all spies, you're
Yeah.
right. But they basically boil down to action movies.
Yeah.
Like, is the French Connection Spies? Is that governmental
no,
stuff?
it's cops.
Cops, okay.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. This is some governmental shit, dude. And we're reaching way back to when spying, not its origin, but we're going back to Roman spies, dude.
Oh, wow.
Ancient Roman spies. This is BC, bro. Okay? About a class of spy that kicked off called the Frumentarii. And we're going to talk about the development of that and then what that became. After doing research, I read a pretty sick-ass article. I always check my sources. You can find the articles if you want to go straight, from the horse's mouth. But I read a sick-ass article on the Frumentarii, and it was like army spies. I'm like, that sounds tight, dude. I want to hear about that. Then I did a little more research and just found like where these Frumentarii came from and what their, and then what sort of those Frumentarii transitioned into. So
isn't the Frumentarii something in Dune?
Oh, in Dune they have Sudarkers.
No, it's Fremen or something like that.
Oh yeah, the Fremen.
It sounds like something from
Yeah, Fremen is like, that's for the, it's supposed to be like free men. It's like the people of the desert, and like they're the ones who like are the natives to where the spice is on that moon.
Not just the
Ankar,
spice,
or whatever
dude.
it is.
Not just the spice. The spice.
The spice. Do you like spice? Do you want some spice?
In the David Lynch movie, the David Lynch version, it's always the spice.
The spice. The David Lynch movie is bad, dude.
Yeah.
It's weird, dude. This new one's sick.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. This is a darker throat chant, dude. But, dude, freaking, that movie's sick, dude.
I did fall asleep twice, but I was still,
you know what?
I was still engaged when I woke up.
It can put you down. That movie can put you down. It's true. You can definitely sleep during that movie, but I love that world. And I mean, that's like sort of like sci-fi canon. That came before Star Wars, came before all of it.
Yeah.
Also, it's kind of funny that like, you know, you have all these sci-fi names and then the main character's name is like Paul. You know,
Yeah.
Sir Darkers, you got like other fucking dudes. Atreides, all these things, dude. And you're like, yeah, and then Paul. So, dude, we're talking spies, dude. All right? And they're pretty freaking sick. It's sexy. I like it because it's sexy. Just picturing a dude. When I think of a spy, I think of, before Bond, I think of just a dude in a suit with long hair and a turtleneck. You know, and I'm like, that's tight. Maybe that guy worked at a museum or is a spy. I don't know. Maybe both. Probably both. And espionage, while being sexy, is also rooted in history of civilization. And I think that's one thesis that I want to make today is state spies versus privatization. And that's going to play in here as we talk through the development of Frumentarii in Rome and then the transition to what came next. Just a quick layover. I've been saying this term, Frumentarii, should have said this sooner. Maybe it's tortured your ears. Like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? It's a Latin word for grain, frumentum. So the Frumentarii were merely grain collectors involved in like the military. Like they're sort of like the warden masters. Like they would, in conquered provinces, they'd go and distribute grain and then collect grain. And by doing so, they had access to like the supply agents who would bring in, and it'd bring them into close contact with like a region's governor or commander of the army or the guard that the Romans would allow to be employed there. And so they would get information just in those contacts. So these officials, because that contact that they had sort of served as secret spies. And then what were their end goals? We will get to that. But where do these guys come from and why make them grain people? Let's sort of answer some of those questions, dude. So, you know, just so you need to know, if you're not familiar with too much with Rome, wherever Roman legions went, military, so a Roman legion had like 5,000 soldiers. They'd send them out. They'd go conquer an area. Let's use Gaul, for example. Let's say Caesar. He was over in Gaul. He wanted to prove himself by conquering Gaul is what they called Britain, by conquering the Britons, the Celts, the tribes up there. And then, of course, you send tax back to the empire and stuff, and it's all for the glory of Rome, but really for the glory of one's own name so that you can then maybe rule Rome. And wherever you go, this makes perfect sense. Knowledge is power, bro. You know, I learned that, dude. This is a true story. Mark Sanchez, former quarterback for the USC Trojans and the butt fumbler from the Jets of New York. One time he showed up at a party at my boy Ross's crib. We were hanging out. His parents were out of town. He used to make us all take our shoes off, but Mark was chill. He was allowed to wear his shoes. And we had a keg. And the keg was foamy, dude. Mark cruised in. And he goes, these guys don't even put, or no, excuse me, it wasn't a keg. We were foaming up the beer bong. That's what we were doing. We were pouring the beer bong straight from the keg into the beer bong and hitting the beer bong. And he goes, look at all that foam, dude. These guys don't even butter their bong. I go, what? Blew my mind. You take a thin layer of butter, not a lot, just a little bit of butter, put it on the top of the funnel where you're going to put the beer in, and it kind of kills that foam, makes the beer bong go way quicker. You don't got to wait for that foam to die down for your boys to hit it. I was like, dude, who's this guy, dude? Where does he get this information, dude? Is he a fucking Is he from the Roman Empire, dude?
I mean, in a pinch, couldn't you just take a little nose grease?
But here's the thing, too much beer. That's like for a personal beer.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? And your boy's about to hit that. I don't want to grease him up with my nose. If I was going to hit it myself and pack it myself, then maybe. But you are right, Aaron. The nose grease or the behind the ear works in your personal beer. Also, just because Mark Sanchez was so lickety-split with the information on that beer bong, let's just first talk a little bit about spying and intelligence gathering. I did a little research on this. I'm like, what exactly is intelligence gathering, dude? So it has 4 elements, dude. Didn't even know this, dude. Direction or targeting, collection of data, analysis of data, and dissemination to the users of information. So good intelligence analysts know that not all information is intelligence, dude. It could just be info, dude. Like if Mark rolled up and he's like, hey, dude, you got to hold the beer higher. It's like, okay, yeah, the guy's just tall. We get that, dude. Or someone can get down on their knees. It's not intelligence, dude. It's just info. Thanks for the info, bitch. That's what I would say. And then you should probably take your shoes off too. So intelligence, as opposed to information, intelligence is restricted to crucial info, dude, about the target or enemy, his strength, location, likely intentions, and capabilities, dude. Good intelligence also has a time factor, dude. What is this? If you tell me something and it's too late, great. You got to be lickety-split, quick, analyzed, delivered in time for user to act upon. Okay? In dissemination, So it's no value. So really, and that's the thing, dude. We've all played the telephone game. You can get a guy, and this is why I believe in not shooting the messenger. You can get a guy who perfectly delivers information to someone, and they don't act upon it or do it soon enough, even if it was delivered timely, fucks up. Case in point, Julius Caesar, bro. This episode comes out in March. Ides of March are upon us. March 15th, cruising around the corner, bro. Julius Caesar had a list of conspirators thrust into his hand. Shortly before he was assassinated, he didn't act upon that intelligence. And he had a heavy hand in the formation of the Frumentarii, and we're about to go back to him. But the decision to act upon the intelligence is just as important, and the right decision to act upon the intelligence is the most important. You know what I mean? So I think it's safe to say Julius Caesar made a bad call, dude, in that regard. But also maybe he was too prideful, dude. Rome's pride does get in its own way, dude. So, cruising back, dude. Julius Caesar, he developed these, and he was around like 46, 44 BC in that era. So even a little later, and there was guys that came even before what he developed, but it's just a quick overview because I'm just fired up on Caesar, dude. You know how to get friggin' fired up on Caesar, dude.
How bad do you got to feel if you're Julius Caesar and you just missed out on the other JC?
So true.
Dude.
So true. But he didn't know it was coming.
Well, of course.
He was like, pfft. He was just posted up, dude. But Aaron, you're right.
Could have hung in a little while longer.
If he would have acted upon that intelligence, he could have met JC. He could have changed the course of history. Mm-hmm. In fact, Christianity and Frumentarii are going to intersect later in this episode. We're going to talk about it. Caesar developed what he called speculatores. We get the word speculator from this. They're used as couriers, spies, and secret police. And here's the thing. Speculatores and most Roman spies, they were working for private citizens or senators or generals. So it makes sense, working for a general, where's the enemy, where's all that? But these speculatores weren't just employed in battle sectors or to go infiltrate villages. And we'll get examples of some spy stuff. And it's tough to get examples because it's supposed to be secretive, so a lot of it's lost or we'll never know. But we do have some cool examples later in the ep. But the thing is, Rome has legions that dominate. They cruise around, they conquer. And Rome is a machine. It needs to keep being fed victories and glory and and hubris and honor and pride and we are the best, and wealth feeding in from all areas of the globe. And the senators, Republican senators, so Rome's a republic at this point before Caesar. He's the one who becomes Caesar, the tyrant, and rules and takes over from the triumvirate and all that stuff. That's a different ep. But when it comes to intelligence gathering, most of it was used to spy on the rivals within the empire itself, other senators, rival politicians, rival generals, as opposed to just the enemies. You know what I mean? It was used for that, but the most interesting stuff is the internal spying that went on, right? Where did Caesar get that information about the people who were conspiring against him? Could he trust it? Who were your guys, dude? This goes way back to mob days when I got Caesar had fucking guys, dude. I got a guy for that. You better believe Caesar was posted up. Thinking about it, dude, he's freaking posted up in Italy. He probably talked like he was from, part of the family. You need a guy? I got a guy. Your niece needs piano lessons? I got a piano guy for that. Don't worry about it. You need a toga? You need a toga dye? You need a little more purple in your toga? I got my dye guy. Don't worry about that. I got a guy. You need tickets to the Coliseum this weekend? What do you want? You want a box? You want courtside? Sit down there, arena side, whatever they call it? I got a guy. I got a tickets guy. Don't worry about it. That's basically what his speculatorios were. They were his fucking guys. And so these spies were individuals fucking guys. Okay? That's what it was. And spoiler alert, it became so internalized and people spying on each other and ratting each other out. And the Frumentarii develop out of, and we'll get into the more development, but they become state sanctioned. Like once you get an empire, you have your bureaucracies. Like Russia's a good example. You have your fucking KGB. Like Frumentarii, they weren't the exact KGB. There's a better direct analogy. It's like what developed out of Frumentarii. They become basically state agents, like fucking suits. They're no longer guys. They're just agents. They're all Mr. Andersons. They all probably talked like, if you do not, what is the purpose of grain if you're unable to speak? Just a bunch of freaking, what's that actor? Hugo Weavings, dude. Mm-hmm. Freaking Frumentarii, just a bunch of Hugo Weavings, dude. So, but it basically just became, there's a great movie called The Death of Stalin, where everyone's just ratting on each other, informing to this day. Everyone's an informant, tons of backstabbing, and everyone's like, look, we're all being bitches. And finally, Emperor Diocletian in like 284, it's like goes all the way over to, I think, fucking AD at this point. And he's like, look, dude, we're getting no more Frumentarii. And he develops agentes in rubis, translated to something like general agents. And those are your freaking Hugo Weavings, dude.
Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson. So now let's talk a little bit about Rome's hubris, this development of the Frumentarii, and what exactly they did. Let's get the juice, baby, okay? Let's get the juice. So first of all, Rome had a PR machine, big PR machine. They were like, up front, they're like, look, spies are bitches, dude. We don't tell secrets, bro. We don't need spies. We've got legions. Other armies need spies against us. What do we do to spies? We just freaking dominate them, dude. We cruise in, we crush them with centurions, dude. We get it done, okay? So that's all a lie. They had tons of spies. They had tons of speculatores cruising around, dude, getting information for their own personal gain. Which they all did share a similar interest of pushing forward the glory of Rome, but the glory of Rome on their terms. So, and they wanted to sell this idea that Rome was great, didn't need spies, didn't need dirty tricks, clandestine operations, didn't need all that. Wanted the people to believe all they needed was just, power and glory and Roman tactics, dude. So, that's a lie. Huge lie, dude. So, they've got tons and tons of enemies to target. Basically, they're always fighting, depending on whatever era. You know, the Etruscans, who basically the Romans came from, Samnites, Gauls, who I already mentioned. There's the Aequi, I'm saying that fucking wrong, Aequi, the Volsci. So this is all like BC, major, you know, Rome's rise in its glory era. You get all these sick ass stories of intelligence going into hostile situations, and some of it's sick, dude. So I think Rome missed out on a marketing campaign, and they missed out on sick plays, dude. You know what I mean? They didn't have movies back then, but these were sick ass plays they could have made. So, you know, they were definitely gathering intelligence. There's a famous example. This dude Fabius Maximus sends his brother, dude, in disguise as an Etruscan peasant into the Sinnigen forest, dude, and he wants to win over some Umbrians to the Roman cause so they can take out the Etruscans. He's like, look, we want to get this tribe to our cause. We need to go in there. You need to be a peasant. Tell them, look, Rome's chill. They're freaking tight, dude. The Etruscans are freaking schmoles, dude. They're bad. Help us take them out, and you're gonna like it. And he,
dude, I just thought of a spy movie.
What?
Star Wars.
Wait.
Whoa.
No way, dude.
Whoa.
No, that's a hero's journey classic.
But
Greek.
they're trying to bring intelligence on how to take down the Death Star. It's the whole movie.
You're not wrong.
Yep.
I like that bend, dude. Let me tell you, as a guy who likes bending, dude, I'm fired up on that, dude. I'm always fired up on Star Wars. Although there's too much Star Wars IP these days, I'm done with it, dude. Oh. Too much. I'm sorry, dude.
Mando's back.
I know. I hear it's sick. I haven't watched, so I can't hate on it. But, you know, watching Pedro Pascal protect young innocents is tight.
Yeah. It's good at it.
Basically, dude, that was a sick-ass story from Fabius Maximus. It just reminded me of one time when I put a big-ass hoodie on my boy Gavin, dude, to sneak into his brother Colin's keg party and score some beers. And it worked. And he rocked a sick-ass hoodie, just posted up by the kegger and just, you know, filled up 2 solo cups for his back, and we drank some freaking Bud Lights. That was tight. Spying against Rome was heavily advertised. You may have heard of the Carthaginian leader Hannibal.
Oh, yeah.
Second Punic War. Hannibal placed spies in Roman camps and in Rome itself, dude. And we know this. One of his spies was caught. That's the only way you get this information. Someone has to get caught. They get away with it, and they get away with it. They cut off his hands. And you go, that sounds pretty gnarly, but here's the reason why. And this is sick. Hannibal would develop sick-ass hand gestures. Like, you know, you throw your bro a shaka, what up? That's like letting your bro know, like, hey, I know we're in on this together. You know what I mean? Like, they had secret gestures. You know what I mean? Maybe they'd give it, maybe it even was the middle finger, but it meant something else to Hannibal and his boys, you know? Maybe it was like, you know, like base signals, like something like that. So they wanted to make this guy useless, but also say, hey, now you can't jack off anymore. Or you better learn to suck your own dick. Real quick. You better fucking take some yoga, bro. Downward hog. So, that's gnarly. The Carthaginian general would disguise himself and sneak into places, dude. Forge documents, send secret communications, dude. And it was legendary. It became legendary. He's like, dude, this guy's just tricking us, dude. And he has elephants, bro. So sick. He's got secret agents. Their hand gestures, that fires me up, bringing it in, dude, with the boys. He would lure Romans into traps, dude. He would catch them between lakes and surrounding mountains, and it was kind of obvious places. Like, generals would be like, wait, why are we going here? Like, it just makes no sense to go to wedge your army between a body of water and a place where you can't retreat. So, very, very gnarly, dude. He had a famous victory at a battle of Cannes as another trap. He cost the Romans dearly and lost manpower. It means he murked a lot of bros. Let's see. They say the way they counted it's accounted for in Roman history, just saying that Hannibal filled bushels filled with rings from wealthy soldiers like cavalry and all that stuff that he killed, like 3 bushels full. So they're like, whoa, 3 bushels of rings? That's like hundreds, maybe thousands. So very gnarly. Hannibal was also vicious himself, dude. If you gave bad intelligence or he thought you were crossing him, he would crucify you. So that's bad.
Ooh, doggy.
Yeah. Not fun, dude. Who invented that, dude? Twisted.
Yeah.
And maybe, the Romans are taking credit for this crucifixion. Hannibal did it first. He was Carthaginian, dude. So, derivative, bro. What are you, dude? So, Scipio Africanus. Also, what was so effective with Hannibal's spying was was that all information went to him. That was huge. He was the general leader, and Rome had a ton of different senators sending their own spies, getting different information, and things are getting crisscrossed, and who wants actually what out of it. Hannibal just wanted to win, dominate Rome, whatever, be left alone, freaking wanted more resources, all that type of stuff. Sick-ass hand gestures, throwing chocolate what-ups. And Roman senators wanted their own shit, this, that, and the other thing. Dudes wanted to lay sideways, post up, eat grapes, And finally Rome takes a hint and they go, look, dude, we need to create our own Hannibal to go fight Hannibal. We need to fight fire with fire. So there's this sick-ass general named Scipio Africanus, dude. And Rome's like, look, dude, you're going to go do your own thing. We're going to sort of just stay out of this. We're going to give you the resources you need, but fucking just get after it, bro. Just fucking go there and get after it. And Scipio Africanus is a smart-ass general, and he's like, look, dude, I'm going to use spies. Okay. So he fucking takes this centurions, right? He sends him into a camp, and this is what he did to take out some Numidians, just as an example. This is not against Carthage, but this is a different battle. This is what a beast he is, dude. Against some Numidian kings. He disguised centurions as slaves. He goes so far as to have them beaten. So he has and that's like a sign of class. So he knew there were spies spying on him in his camp and then those spies would tell the king, this king named Sphax, dude, which is a sick ass name, Sphax. And he's like, those spies will tell Sphax that these slaves that I'm sending there are actually my soldiers. So he goes, we're going to beat them publicly, which is in Roman culture, the only people that would get beat publicly were very low class, never soldiers and never centurions. But he did that just to sell the lie. They go in there, then they go talk to the other prisoners in there. They get information. Where are the towers? What are the guard rotations? Where do they store things? When is it best to attack? It turns out it doesn't take a genius to know this. It's at night when the guards are low. It's when they're, doing a shift change, all that type of stuff. And they set fire to these things, to some of the encampment. And the Numidian kings just thinks, oh, it's their accidental fires. Really, it was the Romans. The army runs out there to go put it out unarmed just to put out the fire. They get murked. Smart. So freaking Scipio Africanus uses sick-ass tactics like these to finally take down Carthage. And also Hannibal overextended himself and tried to cross like the fucking whatever those mountains are in the north of Italy like a dumbass with elephants and really ruined himself. He got too greedy. But anyway, dude, these spy things helped. And maybe the information that he got was like, hey, this is the only way you can go. And that's sick to think about, dude.
Is Scipio African? Because of his name leads you to believe that.
Maybe they called him that because Carthage was in like the North Africa, and he might have like been given that honorary title of like where he did his conquering. Mm-hmm. But I think he probably did have a name. Let me look that up. That's a good question. So sick, dude. Looking this up, dude. Carthage means new town. That's pretty sick. So he was given the term conqueror of Africa. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yep. So his name People are saying in this article that the continent of Africa gets its name from Africanus because he conquered Carthage. Wow. So his name, it's the other way around.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I was onto something, but the wrong way.
So that was just like his straight up Roman name. I don't know the etymology of that name. But they're saying that's where the continent of Africa gets its name from. America is, of course, from the Italian explorer. Mm-hmm. So, very, very gnarly, dude. He's a freaking beast. Let me see. I have one more sick ass. Let's just get into a little bit of the development of these Frumentarii, dude. So, just talking about looking at the Third Punic War. These are wars with like Carthage and shit. And they're saying how Rome ruled a ton of shit at this point. And at this point in history, their empire is huge, but they don't have like the bureaucracies to rule it. Like they have governors employed, but each governor is sort of self-serving. Information is disseminated through this unofficial class of Frumentarii, grain collectors who are hearing information and just sort of giving it all on the sly. And then finally they're like, look, they don't even have postal communications. They start building roads for the need to communicate through their empire because it's so vast. I mean, Roman roads, some of them still stand to this day. Some of them are still used to this day. Some sick bridges are used, dude. You know, now that I'm, getting older, I appreciate bridge architecture, dude. It's something that I enjoy. I like to look at a nice bridge and go, I do that now. It's sick. I look at arches and I go, the physics employed there. Still don't get it, but I like it. It's pleasing to my eye, to my brain. So, an early iteration of these governmental sort of Frumentarii are called embassies and emissaries. We've heard of emissaries. I think of like a Chinese emissary is coming to see you, emperor, or whatever, in friggin' France or some shit, dude. But these embassies were sent from Rome to visit kings of conquered areas, collect taxes, bring gifts and all this stuff. And it was like sort of understood that they were spies. In fact, the Greek historian Polybius, I'm probably saying his name all wrong, Polybius, they refer to these Roman emissaries as kataks kopi. Saying that wrong, but hey, it's all Greek to me. And that just basically means spy in Greek. So everyone knows they're spies. Everyone knows they're working for the government, but at least it's like formal and with purpose and to keep things in order. And we've already gone over why there was no formal spy agency or bureaucracy before this. It was because everyone was looking out for their personal gain, looking to hamstring the guy next to him. But the empire is so big, is so big, they're like, look, dude, we need to fucking keep shit together, dude. There's too many revolts going on. We're all losing money. Let's keep this shit together. That's when you get your Frumentarii, your grain collectors coming out of these emissaries because people are like, nah, these guys are schmoles, dude. There's too many of them. They bring lame-ass gifts. Let's just have these Frumentarii do the shit. And then from there, those people, Frumentarii, basically just started ratting on everybody, still serving, secret ambitions and who had the biggest paychecks. Then, like I said earlier, finally, the emperor Domitian, no, not Domitian. That's a guy who like innovates these. That in Hadrian, those are basically who turned speculatores from Caesar all the way, through Augustus to like years later Domitian and Hadrian. Hadrian's a famous emperor, and they're like, look, they take these supply sergeants, basically glorified supply sergeants. Turn speculatores into that. These guys start ratting on everybody, being straight up bitches. No one likes them. Basically, and they're soldiers is the thing. So it's kind of like they're military police, and it's kind of just crazy whack. And in fact, Frumentarii were used to persecute a lot of Christians, find out Christian underground hideouts. A Frumentarii was sent to arrest this guy Cyprian, who was later sainted as Christian martyr. they send soldiers to arrest, I think it was a Frumentari who arrested John the Baptist, which is pretty gnarly. Very, very gnarly stuff, dude. But everyone hates them, dude, because they basically just start ratting on everyone. And then you get your agents and Rubis, general agents. These are your Mr. Andersons, dude. They're basically Frumentari, but the main difference is they're civilians. They're not military now, and they're not under the jurisdiction of the Praetorian Prefect, which is the emperor directly. It's the commander of the Praetorian Guard, who basically works directly for the emperor. They're directed by an official called the Master of Offices, dude. So it's a dude who just owns offices, bro. So this is like basically your very, very first bureaucracy in empire building is about information collection, dude. Basically runs the post office and gets all the information from the notary, like a notary, which is an imperial secretary. So yeah, he basically was called the Minister of Information, dude. So all of that comes out of Spies. It comes out of the clandestine into the open in the bureaucracy, bro. So you can't have empire without bureau, bro, which is kind of lame, dude. You know, it's empire building. You play these sick ass games on your computer, like Age of Empires and all this stuff, and you're having fun and you think their spies are all sexy, but basically, you know, ditch the cufflinks, lose the spear, pick up a tie, and get yourself a brown suit. And that's basically what you got going on. Taupe, dude. These guys are wearing taupe suits, cruising around, just asking, you know, officials in freaking Numidia, you know, where's your grain? You got to send it back to the empire, so it becomes freaking boring, dude. And that's my main thesis, dude, is that Spies, for what you think is sexy, is actually a snooze fest, dude. Just like Bridge of Spies. Except for Mission Impossible, that's tight. Ethan Hunt's chill. And that's that, dude.
Whoa.
Consider your mind blown, dude. I mean, I gave you some kind of spoilers. Let's see. Yeah, dude. These guys controlled it, dude.
With Spies.
I don't have Spies, dude. Only spying I ever did was, you know, look out for TPing, but even then we were all full commit. We were all full send every time it was time to TP. And we'd go there and we'd blame it on this other dude we went to high school with who never cruised with us. And then his mom would get phone calls. Like, why is this happening? And no one ever knew it was us, dude. Because we made the escape. As close as I ever came to spy stuff. Other than that, dude, it was all out in the open. And no one likes secret police, dude, or unwielding power, information, holding against people. It's the worst.
Yeah. If I was going to have spies, I want to be like ravens.
Like what?
Like ravens.
Yeah.
Bring me info.
Yeah.
That they themselves gathered because they're ravens.
That's what I'm saying, dude. That's what's cool about like the Mongols and stuff. Like you have a claw. Mm-hmm. Or what am I saying? Like a I was going to say a falcon. I was just picturing its talons and called them claws. Mongols just had white claws back in the day. Dude, no. You got these freaking falcons cruising around, spying down, being like, ah! And that's like in like 3 caws meant like that's where the enemy was, and then the guy was like, let's ride. That's tight. Recon gathering is tight. Recon is sick, dude. Mm-hmm. You know, being like, oh, Emperor blah 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 wants to have a vineyard in this area, and he's thinking of putting his, you know, nephew in power to pose his in short, and he's going to set up a marriage in this area and will extend his reach. I'm like, shut up, dude. Shut up. Just go freaking post up, dude. So that's my take on Spies. It was pretty sick, dude. The Frumentarii, which, you know, was really my hook and it really piqued my interest in this, were actually sort of the most boring dudes who would just, you know, listen, dude. They were good listeners, dude. Maybe they were good boyfriends, you know? Probably good boyfriends, like, oh, okay, cool. And how does that make you feel? They ask stuff like that and gathered information, but then they tattled. You know, no one liked tattlers. So if we can take anything out of that, dude, just be chill. And other than that, dude, just freaking stay stoked. Write some questions, comment, suggestions, and all that stuff, dude. Patreon and everything, dude. Also, I'm going to be doing a new little show with Friday Beers, dude. So check it out. Hug your bros. It's about having a safe space for your bros to talk about feelings and shit, dude. So that's going to be tight. Other than that, Freaking stay stoked. Aaron, you're a beast. Thank you as always. And guys, treat yourself during the week, dude. Treat yourself, dude. Alrighty. Freaking lit.